This is a bit of a weird one. On the 4th of March 2026, I got a phone call. Can I build a timber building to link that fire door that you can see at the far end of that alley to the one you see on the right? Had 2 weeks to complete it. Had to be completed by Friday the 20th of March. This was the second weekend. We spent a week in the workshop, 5 men, building a load of panels. That's the first Saturday, dropping off a load of timber. This is on the Sunday. So that's Sunday the 15th. And this ain't the weird thing about it. I'll tell you at the end, the strange thing. I'm just marking out the cables there for the Sparky's first fix. For their lighting. That's the outside of it pretty much completed. I had to build a couple of door frames, stick a couple of fire doors in, just to link up the existing fire doors. That's the inside, that's pretty much completed. Now at this stage, I was asked if I could double the size of it on that far end down there. But they still wanted, as you can see, we hadn't finished and the cleaners had already moved in because it's got to be a clinically clean area. Basically, they've shut a couple or half of the operating theatres and they need this as access and storage basically to the existing or the operating theatres that are still going to be in use. Now at this stage, 2 out of the 5 men we had, one left to be a plumber, told me on the Sunday, and the other one left to do air conditioning, told me on the Sunday. The other guy, he's semi-retired, so he only works part-time. So basically it was just left with me and Dan. That's the inside pretty much completed. That's one fire door. That's right down the end of the alley. That's the outside from this end looking down the alley. We had to only use half of the alley because that fire door had to be in that position. It's basically after being asked if we could double the size, they wanted to still use this bit that was completed by the 20th, but they gave me another week to build an extra bit on the back, which was 5.5 metres long, and then knock through. So I had to knock through after an hour, within an hour sort of thing, and link the 2 buildings together. So it's complete and they can use it as one. That's the back wall. That bit there is, I've left sort of like an opening and then bordered it across. But as you can see, they've completely rammed it with surgical stuff. That's the bit I've left open. There's a little drawer in there of the extra bit I'm going to build on the back. That's it pretty much built without the roof finished. I didn't actually get any pictures or videos of it completely done. That's the OSB on the roof, just needs felting. That's it pretty much done. I think this was on Saturday the 28th. After we'd built it, this is how I'd left it on the Wednesday, which was Wednesday the 25th. The other bits built, I've just left it there ready for the Sparks to go and do their second fix lighting. In the meantime, I was asked if I could paint it all inside and out with intermittent paint, which was pretty much impossible because they was giving me a day to do it, bearing in mind all this equipment's in there with nowhere to move it to. So it's pretty much an impossible task. But I found a product that I could use, which is a one coat product, providing you get the absorption rate right, which is 1 litre for every 4 square metres of surface, minimum of 12mm thick, which that cladding is 12mm, or the MDF is 12mm. Here I'm just testing I've never seen the product. They do guarantee it and they give you a certificate for it and everything else, but I'm just testing it myself to make sure it's not actually an intermittent paint, but it's a fire retardant. You just see me there just brushing that on. We actually sprayed it inside. It's really quick, but we had to get a lot on it in a quick time. Really, we give it 2 coats, but we didn't let the first coat properly absorb first. But that's why I'm trying this, just to see if 1 coat would actually do what we wanted it to do. I'll just slap that on. I left that for 5 hours to dry. Make sure it was completely dry. And then you can see here, I'll test it. I've got a treated piece on the left and an untreated piece on the right. And I'll just use a blowtorch. I'll keep the distance that the blowtorch is away from the surface the same. I'm just using a piece of timber just to rest it on. But I was quite surprised. I was quite surprised how good it was, this stuff, especially with a direct flame like that. But that's the untreated side. And you'll see, I left it for about 30 seconds, but you'll see when I remove the torch, although it's got nothing else to keep the fire going, it actually stays alight. I end up blowing it out in the end. But that was the first try. I tried this a few times, but I've actually put that really close now. I actually put the timber in the wrong place on the torch that was holding it away. You see, as soon as I remove that, it basically distinguishes. When you do it on the non-treated, and that was having it really close. But because I had it really close, I tried it again there, at the right distance to the non-treated. You see, it's slowed down the burning, but that's not what I was actually impressed with. I left it on there for 30 seconds. Basically, it just goes instantly it's gone out. There's no flame there at all. I think this was the site where I ended up blowing it out in the end. I was sitting there and it just kept burning. I took the flame away and it just kept burning. And that was just with one coat using a brush. When I sprayed it, I was actually getting a lot more product on there. I can't say what the product is. It's not for me to say, but you can see that. Although it's hard to see the flame, but the flame is still there. You can just see it flickering. It's still there. You still see it burning. And in the end, I'll just blow it out because it just weren't going out. It's still burning. I mean, this stuff was really expensive. I think it was about £30 a litre. Bearing in mind I had about 360 metres to cover. You have to use a coverage of 1 litre for every 4 square metres. So it's quite expensive. But if it does the job, then it's well worth it. You see how long that other side took to go out. Well, I blew it out in the end. And then you look at this. I'll leave it on there for exactly the same amount of time. Looks like it's just starting to try and burn now. But as soon as I take the torch off, it just goes out instantly. So I was well impressed with that. Anyway, so we go there on Saturday the 28th to spray this, and that's what we walk into. They have completely filled the new part after obviously the Sparks had put their second fixed lighting up. They'd completely filled it with this machinery. So now we've got to clear that out. Put extractors up. So I ended up opening up the back of the building again. I ended up taking a panel out, shutting up that doorway. And we had to get a few guys in to help us, but we completely filled the alleyway. We stuffed some back in there, the existing building, but the machinery was literally everywhere. And that's we've emptied the room out now. That's the back part, the additional part. As you can see, I'm spraying it. And what I'll do is I'll spray that. I'll let that soak for a bit, and then I'll go over it again and just really drown it, just to get the right amount on there. I mean, really, it should have been left and had another coat. I would have been happy. But as you can see from the demonstration I've done, it didn't really need it. But just from the coverage of what they recommend, that's what I should have done. But I think I used 75 litres in the end, and it should have been about 90. Bearing in mind that's over 366 square metres, so I think we done quite well to get it on. But we had to get in now, basically vent that room, so I took the back out. Then we had to move all that stuff into that room, what was in there already, plus what was in the existing room, then seal it off and then get into the other room. We masked up all the lights. In the meantime, they'd fitted smoke detectors in there, which we ended up setting off. Fire brigade turned up, caused a big scene. Yeah, it was a bit embarrassing really, but it is what it is. But that's the frame where the door, where I've blocked up the door to the existing bit. That's just doing the outside. Yeah, it was internal and external. As you can see, we're really getting it on there. But because the timber's really dry, it's really absorbing, which is what we wanted. We needed to get that absorption rate. As you can see, I've opened up the back of the building to vent it. And then we left that for an hour. And now we're in the first bit now. This is where we set off the smoke alarms. Had everyone running around, panicking and they're just coded locks that I put on, so they can't be locked from the inside, just to link them fire doors. But yeah, that's the inside now. It's all been sprayed. We just got to wait around for an hour before we can let anyone in now. But basically, they was just wanting to use it constantly. I mean, they're using it as access to the operating theatres, which I should imagine are open 24/7. But that's not the strange part about this. That's not the weirdest thing about this. That's a photo before we'd finished it. I didn't get any photos when I'd completed the roof from the outside. But that's this coming up now. Prior to this, that was probably the strangest roof structure or strangest shape building I'd done. That was a couple of years ago. But the shocking part of this was, in 5 weeks' time, it's all got to come down. Thanks for watching.